refresh our memory, Michael Boggs was the second owner.
Yep, he was the second owner.
And the first owner was?
Andrew Harris, I believe.
Andrew Harris.
Yep.
So he's the one that first put it on the drag strip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think Michael told me that him and his dad went to look at it, and his dad thought they were going to look at a Hemi car, and he wasn't really interested in buying it.
It's Keith at Knoll Automotive, and I'm here with Greg Winter, the owner of this black 70 Cuda AAR, and we're just going to talk about the history of the car and whatever Greg knows about it.
Yeah. Well, luckily I bought it in the 90s where you could research everything, and I know every owner that put the car in their name. I was able to do a title search all the way back, and I found out that the original selling dealership was Northside Motors in Miami, Florida. An Andrew Harris bought it, and he didn't purchase it until July of '71.
Oh, wow.
From what I can tell from the paperwork. So it sat on the lot for a while. And
imagine that, a black car not selling in Florida.
Yeah,
I mean, no tinted windows, right?
No, they're tinted.
They're tinted, okay.
Yeah. But
so maybe no one wanted black cars in Florida, right?
Well, and black wasn't popular that time anyway.
Right.
So, yeah, I was surprised when it came out of Florida. It's like, whoa, who'd want that? You know?
Right.
And they had the car, and I think it was a daily driver. And then at one point they turned it into a strip car.
Okay.
And that's where all the AAR parts basically were taken off, the power steering, and they flared the rear quarter panels to get bigger tires underneath it.
Probably air shocks or something too, or
could be
the big long spring shackles.
Yeah,
or,
yeah. And they moved the springs in.
Oh, sure.
So, and the second owner, Michael Boggs, he purchased the car in '79, and he said that when he purchased it, you could put your hand right through the Dutchman panel. It had already rusted out in 9 years down there. Of course, the salt air rusts everything from the top down.
Sure. And I guess I'm not great at geography or whatever, so Miami is really close to the shore.
Yep, and Michael said that they were only like 7 miles off the coast where he lived,
yeah, so
salt
like
air.
every day it was getting salt spray.
Yeah, because when I got it home, I'm crawling underneath it looking at it. It's like, as an Iowa guy, I'm like, hey, this is pretty dang good. And then
on the bottom.
Yeah, and then when I started taking the headliner down, the rust just started falling, and I'm like,
wow,
what the heck?
Yeah.
So but yeah, Michael made it it was his high school driving car.
Okay.
And then he raced every weekend at one or two tracks down in Florida, and he was kind enough to send me pictures of him at the racetrack.
Right, so we do have some pictures of that, which we will include in the video. Okay.
And one of the pictures, he's at the track, he's parked next to his dad, who's had a 70 Hemi Cuda. So, and it was a real Hemi car, 4-speed.
In '79
or
so? Okay.
Yeah, they were, it was back halved and everything.
Wow.
It was a serious race car.
Yeah.
So, and then Michael, he said he put a 440 in it at one time, and he was getting close to breaking into the 11s. And the track told him, he goes, you get in the 11s, you have to put a roll cage in it.
Yeah.
And he said at that point he decided to sell the car because he knew it was rare and he didn't want to cut it up. So he told me that he sold it and he bought a dragster then.
Okay.
So he got his.
All right. So Michael's going to watch this video. I'm sure he's going to see it at some point.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for not cutting up this car.
Yeah. I give Michael all the credit because if it would have been cut up, I would never have bought it.
It'd been just too much.
It would have been more than what I would have thought. In the early '90s, people probably were doing that, but it wasn't something that I was accustomed to. So I would not have purchased a car that that much modification. So
Right.
he deserves a lot of credit for knowing what it was and not
Hold
cutting
off
it up.
on hacking it up.
Yeah. So,
Nice. Yep.
and he sold it to a local guy that he knew flipped cars, and it went from Pompano Beach, Florida to Missouri to a Jody Mansour. And I didn't track him down until it was too late. Google was a great assist in the last, 5 or 6 years,
Right.
finding people. And unfortunately, he has already passed away. And in his obituary, he said he was known as the Cuda man, and he had over 150 Cudas he had owned in his lifetime.
Wow.
So
Yep. So why not have this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So yeah, from there, from what I understand, it went to New York. Steve Joyce owned it. He never put it in his name. I didn't find out about that until we were at the MCACN show last year, and Daryl Turner told me that he knew one of the previous owners, and I'm like, really? Because I thought I knew everybody.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know how long he owned it, but then it went to a James Ambrose in Maine, and he traded it at Chuck Pierce Restoration in New Hampshire for a Hemi car, because I had called it on a black with a black interior 4-speed car that Chuck had listed. It was either in Hemmings or Mopar Collector Guide, I don't remember.
Right.
And he said, well, he goes, that one's already sold. He goes, but I got another one coming in on trade.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I wonder if that black 4-speed car was the one that Ross owned.
No.
No. You already kind of tracked that part down.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was actually owned by a guy by the name of John Lawson. He had that car at the Mopar Nationals in Indianapolis in '95, and I talked to him there. So it required a lot of work. It needed a cowl and a lot of other stuff. It was very rusty. It was rustier than this, so
Wow.
I was better off getting this one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think it's more cool because of the white interior.
Right.
Not counting the 4-speed or automatic floor shift or even a column shift. I think.
Yeah.
The white interior.
I love anything that's got an interior other than black, and not
Any
that I
color,
dislike
yeah.
black,
Right.
but so many of them are black that
Yep.
it's cool to see a different color.
I call black the default.
Yeah.
Like, people that are restoring a car, if it's blue, green, tan, red, whatever, if they don't want to spend the extra money on doing the colored interior, well, black is easy.
Yeah.
So it's just like everything's black.
Yep.
So,
So.
all right.
Yeah, I purchased it from Chuck, and
So about what year was that?
I was 94.
94.
94.
Okay.
I had called a friend, Doug Swales, to find out if he knew Chuck Pierce, because Doug knows a lot of people in the Mopar world, and he said he didn't. He goes, call Galen and ask him, because you never know. Buying a car by pictures through the mail is a little difficult.
Right. Pre-Facebook, internet.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, yeah.
And I called Galen, and he talked to me, and he's like, yeah, he goes, if Chuck's telling you something, it's the truth.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about that part of it.
Yep.
And he,
And I still talk to Doug Swales all the time.
Yeah.
And Galen, I see him, on a regular basis too.
yeah.
So,
Hey, Galen actually, he goes, how you getting it home? And I'm like, well, I'm either going to go get it myself or have Duffy's up in Cedar Rapids pick it up for me. And he said, he goes, Duffy's would never find that place out there. It's hard to find, because I can pick it up for you. And I'm like,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. Galen will still say if he sees that car, he's like, I had that in my trailer one time.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's hauled around a couple of times for me. He took he brought it back from Chicago when I got it dipped,
Right.
because I didn't want to bring a freshly dipped car home on an open trailer,
Right.
So he hauled that around, and it's been all over the country.
Sure.
Sometimes
sure.
just in pieces though too,
Right.
because I've sent everything off to be redone.
Yep. So let's go back a little bit. So we went through the history of where the car has been up until you. what was your passion, or what were your thoughts on, like, I want this particular car? What led you down that path?
Well, I've always been a 70 Cuda guy. I think they're the best looking of the 5 years.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and I've always liked AARs. I'd never seen a black one.
Okay.
You know, I just thought it'd be cool with the black and the black stripes and all that. And just, like I said, the ad just appeared.
Yeah.
So I called.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
lo and behold, I ended up getting it.
So maybe at some point you would have settled for any other kind of
Yeah.
Cuda,
Yeah.
but it was just by chance that this just kind of was like right in the
Yeah.
your focus area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just at the right time.
Yeah.
So I ended up buying it, and the rest is history, I guess.
Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit. So, so I didn't know you at the time, but it wasn't long after that I started my business
Yeah.
here. I started my shop here in '97,
Yeah.
and then I did my first car back here in this homemade paint booth. And then once I had my Roadrunner painted and I put it together, I started taking it to Mopar shows. And then I ran into Tommy Anthony, I ran into you,
Yeah.
and Jared King.
I remember.
And just started, just meeting all these people. And it was like, oh my God, you live in Iowa City. Jared was in Coralville, Tom was
Yep.
in Coralville. And I just started meeting all of you folks. And then we, of course, we met Claire,
Yep.
and Larry. And so that's kind of where, I came in the picture. So Tom had his 69 Barracuda at the Swisher shop,
Mm-hmm.
and Jared had his high school Cornet, and he was welding it together in his house garage, and that's when I met him. And we were all going to like the Dubuque Mopar show,
Mm-hmm.
and we were going over to Illinois to the Illinois shows and just trying to go to swap meets because we're all building cars, all collecting parts.
Yeah.
And so you bought this in '94.
Yep.
And so 95, 96, 97, 97-ish, 98 is when I met you.
Yeah.
And you were still working, and I remember you had a house off Sycamore Street.
Yep, on Hollywood.
Okay.
That's the first time I met you, was when Tom brought you over there.
Okay.
Because I met Tom at the Mopar Nationals in Indianapolis. I was had the Cornet over there, and I was camping, and I came back from the show that day, and there was a Suburban parked next to me with Johnson County plates.
You're like, no way.
And it's like, okay. And
Small
then
world.
we talked, and that's how I met everybody else then, basically. So, and you came over to my house that one time because I had all the Cuda parts in a bedroom,
Right.
a baby bedroom actually too.
Right. So I remember it was just kind of a modest ranch style house, and like every room in your house had, it was like a model box, and you just had all these parts, and you were restoring like little components.
Yeah.
Collecting NOS parts. Probably one of the most impactful parts that you were able to collect is the stripe.
Yeah.
Tell us about the NOS stripe. Like, there are a lot of NOS TA stripes, but when it comes to AAR stripes, I don't know why, but they are super hard to find. Tell us a little bit about the NOS stripe and the second NOS stripe that you got.
So the first set I got off a member of ebody.org. He had a set for sale, and he said some of the backing paper wasn't quite perfect, and they weren't terrible expensive. I think he only charged me like $300 for them, so it's like
$300 for an NOS Cuda stripe.
Right.
Wow.
So I got those.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I never intended to do NOS stripes. It's like, no, that's not. I don't want to spend that kind of money on it. And
Sure. And one thought that people always have is like, how could the adhesive still be good?
Yeah.
Well, we found out it's still really good.
And the one backside on the one sticker was just probably not going to be good enough. So I just kept an eye out, and all of a sudden one showed up on eBay.
Okay.
And I ended up purchasing it. He had make an offer, but my handle on eBay was TX9 AAR Cuda. So
he's like, this guy's going to want
this
it.
guy's going to, this guy's going to pay full price. I don't have to accept an offer. So I ended up getting another set, and that set was in almost perfect condition.
That would be the ones that
and
were
that's
made
the
in
one
on
that
the
you
car.
put on. Yeah. So.
Do you remember what you paid for that one?
Oh, they were 700 or 750,
All
something
right.
like that.
All right, so that was maybe late 90s or 2000s.
No, that was, boy, that might have been after 2014.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
The guy got it from has the Mopar Ponderosa in Minnesota. I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember what his name is. I should.
You know, we met him.
Greg Nelson.
Yeah, I think we met him in Minnesota once, maybe.
Did we?
Or something. Yeah. Okay.
So that's who I got him from.
Okay. So now it's 2025. If you went to buy an NOS set of AAR Cuda stripes, I mean, it would be like $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah, I'd hate to think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it would not be purchased by me, put it that way.
Right.
Not now.
Exactly.
Not for 50 or 55-year-old paper
Right.
product.
Right.
That's crazy.
So when you bought the decals, were they rolled up or were they flat?
They were flat. Both sets, the first set had been stored flat the whole time also, but he did roll them up to ship them, which,
Okay.
you know, what came out of Texas, so it wasn't like they were shipped. They were rolled up
Sure.
very long. And then the other ones came in a spoiler box, a gull wing box, so.
Okay.
Yeah. And they were very nice, so
Yeah.
well worth the money.
Right. And then all those years you just kept filling your house with more and more parts.
Yeah.
And I remember when, you know, after the car was done, you brought them up to me. You brought both sets.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I was so nervous putting those decals on. It took, normally I could do a decal on any car like, you know, in half a day or something or whatever. I remember Kathy and I spent like a whole Saturday,
Yeah.
like from morning till late afternoon. Because I remember when I pulled it outside, Kathy took a video and we pulled it outside and the sun was really low in the sky. And I had to pull it outside before it got dark because I wanted to see it outside. So I remember that took me all day. And it wasn't the layout necessarily, it was the peeling the backer off of each piece.
Yeah.
Because one mess up and you rip it or
Yep.
and so NOS stripe, but you can tell it's NOS.
Yeah. I had people come up to me at the MCACN show in 21 and they're like, "Oh, you put NOS stripes on it, didn't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I can tell."
Yeah.
There's just a difference in them.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm sure that's one of those things where they don't make that type of paper or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
You know.
There's been a lot of discussion on the Facebook page about the 3M paper Dynoc or
Yeah.
something is the textured
Yeah.
paper. It's no longer exists. No one can recreate it without like major expense.
Yeah.
And people have tried. There was a guy last year at MCACN that had some TA stripes, and they had this really weird texture to it. It just looked wrong. So yeah, the NOS stripe and the reason you want the NOS stripe is because it mimics the organosol.
Yeah.
It just had. I mean, in the sunlight or even in the shadows a little bit, you can just tell the organosol and the stripe they mirror each other. So
yeah.
they just have that same texture and kind of semi-flat sheen to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we talked about like what drove you to buy this car. We've talked about, you know, where the car was. Obviously, was born in Hamtramck, Michigan, and about how many cars. We could talk about that briefly, and then talk about the restoration.
Okay.
So, about how many AARs were built in total?
Well, it's 2,700, I think.
27 and 99,
Yeah,
or something like that.
I know it's just above 2,700,
Okay,
so
all right.
I didn't know
and
for
this
sure.
information is easily looked up,
Yeah.
and sometimes the numbers get by, and we forget them. Okay, so there's that many AARs, and that's column shift, that's floor shift
Yep.
automatic, that's 4-speed,
Yep.
and all the colors under the rainbow. But what makes it really kind of more rare is there's like maybe 40 black cars.
40 known black.
Okay, so 40 known, and that's just known.
that's
That's not Chrysler
yeah.
numbers.
That's as of October of 24.
Okay.
There's 40 known.
All right, so there's 40 known cars.
Yep.
And out of the 40, is there any way to know how many different interiors? Is there just white and black? Or are there any with a red?
There's black, there's white, and there's one red interior car.
Okay.
They think that there's only one
Right.
of the red. The other cars they're all built in groups of 4.
Okay.
So they're pretty confident on that. You would think that by now, if there was more than, if there had been 4 red interior ones built, something would have popped up, by
Maybe,
now.
right.
You would think.
Right.
But that's what Jeff Bangert said. And he said all of the white interior cars are all automatic floor shift. They're all spec'd out the same. About the only difference is the rear gears.
Okay.
Some of them are 391s and some are 355s.
All right. So this car here, this in particular car, is a standard gauge.
Yep.
So not rally, no tack.
Yep.
And so just very
Yep.
basic.
I think all the white cars are
Just standard gauges.
standard gauges,
Okay.
floor shift automatic.
Okay.
And I think the fender tags would just about be identical.
Okay.
I don't think there's any deviation on them.
That means the same. It's just left side mirror, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just left side mirror, and all Trans Am cars were born with power disc brakes.
Yep.
But not all were born with power steering.
Yes, and this has power steering.
Right. So some were born with manual steering, and some were born with power steering, and then there's a deviation from that. Not all were born with quick ratio steering.
All the AARs, if they had power steering, it was fast ratio.
Okay.
On the TAs is where you could get a power steering that wasn't a fast ratio.
Got it. Okay.
So,
All right.
That's the difference between the Dodge and the Plymouth.
Right. And
So.
there's a lot of differences between
Yeah.
Dodge and Plymouth, because this is the VIN number is special, so Barracuda Special,
Yep.
BS23, but on the Challenger it's not,
Yeah.
because JS would indicate an RT.
Right.
So it's just a JH23.
Yep.
And you could start breaking it down like way beyond that. Like the only wheel offered was a rally wheel on the Plymouth, but on the Dodge you could get poverty caps
Mhm.
and black wheels and rallies, and there was just so many different things. The cars weren't built like exactly exact.
Yeah.
There was a lot of differences that way. So
Yep.
um,
Yeah. So, and mine is it's the first of 4 consecutive VINs
for white interior.
for white
cars.
interior cars.
Okay.
It's a April 15th car. So it's 906. 906 895.
Okay.
896 was totaled in Florida in the 80s or the 90s. And then the next one is owned by an individual, I'm not sure. And then I think the last one of the 4 is owned by the brothers in their collection.
Right, and so if you're familiar with the Brothers collection, that's where they have all the Trans Am cars on the racks.
Yep.
And you can actually see in all the videos I've seen, I haven't been there, but a lot of people you and I know have actually been
Yeah.
there, and we see videos all the time. But you can see a black AAR with a white interior, maybe like the second one up on those huge racks. That's just an amazing collection. So we're gonna go there someday. I know it's gonna happen. So
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, we'll make it.
So
So I've actually been invited a couple times
Have you?
to go out there, and it just never works out.
yeah,
And plus, it's a flight that you got to pay for. It's not
Yeah.
like you can just go for free. It's, you still got to get there, and it's clear
Yeah.
out in Washington.
Yep.
So we talked about the car, a little bit of particulars on it. Let's talk about how the restoration and what led you to bring it here and kind of where we're at today.
so would have been around 2000. I took it to a local guy who restores Mopars, and he had it for probably 6 or 8 months, I think. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. But in the time frame during that restoration, I went from being a single guy to having a wife and 4 kids.
Uh-huh.
And when the restoration was done, the car looked great, fantastic. And we brought it home and put it in my pole barn, and it sat there for probably 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And then we moved again. So we hauled the car into town, and it sat for a little while longer. And it must have been around, I don't know, 2010, 2011. I started putting it together, and everything was okay until I went to put the marker lights in the back. And they have the bezel that comes in from the front and then one from the back.
Right, right. And it's kind of this big bracket,
Yeah.
kind of a big, beefy bracket.
And the passenger side, I could just barely get it on, but I could get it on. And then I went to the driver's side, and it was not going on at all.
So what we have is we have the quarter panel that comes down at an angle, and then the trunk floor kind of butts up against it, and then right in this area is where that marker light is.
Yeah.
And we ended up finding out that the trunk floor was too high.
Yeah.
And or with the reproduction parts at the time, you had quarter panel skins.
Yeah.
And so a combination of maybe being welded in the wrong place and the marker light not being in the right place, that whole side marker assembly just wasn't even going to fit.
Yeah.
And so like something drastic would have to be changed. Either we changed the marker light, cut it out and moved it up, or the trunk floor had to come down, which it wasn't going to come down. So at that point, and then what were some other things that
the back trim around the back.
Okay.
With the fasteners, there was no way you could get a stock fastener,
Okay.
to work. I mean, there must have been so much extra Bondo on there. I just to get it put together, I was sliding the screw into the trim. That was about that long, and then I, nut it together. And
Oh wow.
it's like, oh, well, it's on, so it's like go on to the next stuff, and that's like,
Just one thing after the other didn't fit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then when the marker lights came to a head, I talked to the guy and had him come down and look at it, and he's like, well, I can hammer that floor down for you. And I'm like,
It wouldn't be right.
I have a hammer.
Right.
I could do that. I don't need you to do that. So it was at that point, I think I got a hold of you and you came down and looked at it, and you basically said, we can try to pop these welds loose and move the floor down, but if I crack the paint anywhere, it's going to be a virtual repaint.
Right.
Because there's no breaks, there's no vinyl top to.
Yep.
And I had put the 3/4 panels on, and I'd been told, no matter what, that weld on top always shows up.
Right.
Eventually.
There's always some shrinkage,
Yeah.
and you'll see it at car shows. And
Yeah.
then
And
black always seems to just show like
is-
every imperfection.
Yeah. Yep.
So just a lot of things were leading up to like this first restoration just wasn't gonna.
yeah. And by that time, AMD had come out with full quarter panels, and I'm like, I just finally made the decision. It's like, let's just put new quarters on it.
Right. Right.
And then we decided to go that route, and the more you took it apart, the more we found that was wrong. And
Right.
Yep.
And we ended up putting a roof skin on it
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
And and just we're not really throwing the first guy under the bus because he worked with what he had.
Right.
So like in the early 2000s, there just wasn't a lot. It wasn't like
Right.
doing a Camaro or a Mustang.
Right.
So he really did. He was a craftsman.
Yeah.
And he worked with what he had, but maybe he failed to maybe test fit some of the parts, and so we ended up just kind of taking apart all of his work, and then we decided also at that time the car was getting more and more rare, and we just started
Right.
figuring out like, hey, this isn't just some Cuda.
Yeah.
It's got some special stuff going on here, and so we just kept digging and digging until we got down to where it was just no more rust.
Yeah.
And it was basically like sticks. You know, it was just the frame rails and the inner structures, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
I had taken the car to Ready Strip in Chicago and
Okay.
had it dipped for the first restoration. So
Right.
it cleaned up everything everywhere.
Right. So all the undercoating and seam
Yep.
sealer and everything was already handled.
Yep. And
Yeah.
it got all the rust out of
The roof skeleton.
the skeleton and
Yep.
all that, which
Yep.
it wouldn't have done if we just sandblasted it. So that was my
Right.
thinking of like, well, I'll just dip it.
Yeah, and
So,
that did work out pretty
yeah.
good because I did re-sandblast it, but it was a quick, you know, it didn't really take much. And that was basically just to get a lot of the old paint off.
Yeah.
When he restored that and painted it, was the stripe on it, or you held off?
No, he put stripe on.
He put a stripe on
A
it.
stripe on it. It was a reproduction stripe. I got that from
Okay.
Performance Car Graphics, I would
Wow.
imagine.
So how lucky is that you put a reproduction stripe on it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because when we cut it off, do you still have that quarter panel?
I still have one of them, yeah.
Okay, so
And-
I remember we cut that quarter panel off, and it still had the AAR on
Yep.
it. Okay.
That's hanging in my garage.
So thankful you didn't put the NOS stripe on.
No,
that.
that first restoration, I was more in line of it's going to be a nice driver,
Okay.
is what it was. It's like, so I wasn't concerned about, you know,
Putting the super
putting-
rare parts
right.
on it. Yeah.
at that time. So, and
Yep.
it just sort of snowballed the second time.
Right. So, you know, I at that point in my career here, I knew that it needed like just a higher top shelf level restoration. And yeah, it wasn't going to be just like a $4,000 paint job and just driver quality.
Yeah.
You know, we were going to like go the best of the best. And then we also had the discussion about whether or not we were going to paint it with single stage
Yep.
acrylic enamel, or if we were going to do base coat, clear coat. And it was getting closer and closer to where it was time to paint the car. Now we painted the underside and the trunk and all the door jambs and the floor with acrylic enamel, but we ended up deciding that we were going to make this, because it was black,
Yep.
we were going to block sand it till the end of time and make it just as straight as possible.
Yeah.
And we ended up just going base coat, clear coat, and we wet sanded and buffed that thing to just an absolute mirror finish. So even though the paint job isn't super concourse, I think it was the right choice.
Yeah.
And even if we did paint it with like acrylic enamel or urethane, I think we still would have wet sanded it to where it was a mirror finish.
Yeah.
So
It's just hard taking a picture of it because it reflects everything. So.
right, you got to stand off to the
Yeah.
side so you don't get your legs in the picture or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
So.
So I've been in business 29 years, and the restoration is maybe 5 years old.
We started in 2014.
Okay, so
The
11 years ago is
Yeah.
when we started
We
it.
started it because I had a cousin pass away, and it's just sort of like, you know what? You better get this done.
Right, and then we
So-
did take a break. Like we did
Yep.
all the metal work in one shot. You
Yep.
know, we tore it apart, did all the metal work in one shot, and then for whatever reason we took a break on
Yeah,
it.
I ran out of money.
Yeah, okay. It's not
Which-
hard to do.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not.
So we took a break on the car, and then like a year or two later we started on it
Yep.
again. And then I remember did we take another break on the car, or did we kind of maybe went full steam and then we slowed up a little bit for some reason?
I'm trying to remember.
Because we, like, over the course of, you know, like 5 or more years it took to restore it, and you know, we undid some things, we had
Yeah.
to wait on a couple parts, but so anyway, 2014, you
Yep.
know, skipped
That's-
a year or two.
That's when
and-
I started. That's when I talked to you. It might have been that fall before you actually started working on it in 14.
Okay.
So
And then we were going to get it ready for the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals.
For
And
2020, yeah.
and we decided it was going to be too much of a rush to get it there. But I think it worked out
And then
for the best.
they canceled.
Was that COVID?
Yeah.
That was COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was in
That's
20.
right.
It was one of those where we probably would have been putting the last parts on at the show because
Okay.
we were pushing it.
Right.
And then when that got canceled, I think we took a little bit of a break there
Okay.
and didn't work on it as much until the next springtime, and then we debuted it at Mopars in the Park
Oh, right.
in 21.
That's right. So the first show was in Minnesota that we actually.
Yeah.
And I have a video when Tim and I think it was Nick and Jeremy Slay, or maybe Nick Slay and my whole crew, and the guys videotaped me pulling it
off the trailer.
And we
Yep.
had a spot inside the building.
Yep.
And God, that thing was just a dust bowl up there
Yeah.
too. So the weekend we debuted the car, first show, first time out, it was just super dusty, and we have a black car.
Yeah.
It was just, oh my God, and even in the building, it was super dusty.
Yep.
And you know, the guys at the show, they did their best, but it was just super dusty.
Yeah.
And then it was that fall or that November was the
that was MCACN.
was the Trans Am display car.
Yep.
So all the Trans Am cars, which is Challenger TA and Cuda AARs, 20 some cars maybe.
Could be.
Yeah, because they were right at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals. They were all lined up, and then Tim Wellborn stuck a '70 Dodge Charger in the middle. But he had that Limelight Cuda also. But he was a big sponsor of the show.
Yep.
So
he was the sponsor of the display.
Of that display.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, he put his Limelight Cuda there. But then right in the middle of the Trans Am cars, he put a '70 Charger RT. But it was a great show.
Yeah.
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 And we had like the primo spot too. We were right on the corner, and right on one of the main dragways.
Yep.
So
we were parked next to, I don't remember his name. He had the Olsenite AAR Cuda. We were right next to him.
Right, the race car up there, and then I think DJ Bouchon was
he was right behind
with
us.
his red AAR.
Yep.
And then the Currens had one, and Michael Ross had the black one back from us a little bit. And Mike Hamilton was there with one of the cars that he did. It was just a great show.
Yep, it was.
So that was the first time the car really, like at Minnesota, it had some eyes on it, but it didn't like really come out until the Muscle Car Nationals.
Yep.
And then that thing was like, we were on the map.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the car is done, and I think we've talked about everything. I'm going to go ahead and when I edit the video, I'm going to throw in some pictures here and there, and then we'll throw in some pictures of the when it was a race car.
Okay.
So refresh our memory, Michael Boggs was the second owner.
Yep, he was the second owner.
And the first owner was?
Andrew Harris, I believe.
Andrew Harris.
Yep.
So he's the one that first put it on the drag strip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think Michael told me that him and his dad went to look at it, and his dad thought they were going to look at a Hemi car, and he wasn't really interested in buying it, but Michael still wanted it, so he purchased it. I think he might have bought that before he had his driver's license.
Sure.
So
yeah, common thread with Scott.
Yeah.
Same thing. He went to Hartwig Dodge and not quite driving yet. I mean, we all knew how to drive at a young age, but not legally.
Right.
And we were buying cars already. Yeah, everyone else was on their bicycle and we had cars. Yeah. What was your first car? Do you
my first car was my Coronet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So Greg owns, this is the car that he gets to drive because this is pretty much a trailer queen. So Greg has a 1968 Coronet RT 4-speed convertible.
Yep.
And that is, you drive the wheels off that thing.
I try to.
It never gets trailered.
No.
I've never seen that on a trailer.
I took it to Columbus, Ohio on a trailer.
Okay, probably an open trailer though.
Yeah, for the Mopar Nationals.
Open trailer.
Yeah. And I took it to Indianapolis on a trailer.
Okay.
So.
All right.
But.
So when you got to have your fix, that's the car.
That's the car.
This car, trailer queen all the way, box trailer. And I know everyone's like, what a waste of money. But until you own like a trailer queen car, you won't get it. But like a lot of Mopar guys too, we own several cars.
Yeah.
You can have like your rainy day car. I had my General Loop, and the snow car, and then we can have a Trailer Queen car with polyglass tires, and we never drive it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's nice about having multiple cars.
I bought the Coronet in July of 1980.
Wow.
Paid $27.50 for it.
Yeah.
Another friend bought a Cutlass Indy Pace car. He paid about $2,700 for that. And then another friend that later on in the summer bought a Buick GSX, and he paid around $2,700 for it. And I'm the only one that still has the car.
Uh-huh.
So.
Yep. In 1985 or 86, I had already had a Jeep and dirt bikes and all that, but I think it was 86, or like the winter around 85, 86, I bought my first muscle car, and it was a 71 Grand Coupe.
Yeah.
And I paid $3,000 for it. And it was a nice car. I mean, it had already been repainted once, and had a 340 in it, and it was kind of hopped up, but had nice interior, nice vinyl top. It was a nice looking car, and I had no idea what I had. And now I look back, I still have the VIN number, and I look back at it, and I'm like, you look at Galen's books, and you're like, that was like one of 300 cars,
Wow.
A 71 Grand Coupe. I was like, no way.
Is it still alive, or do you know?
I don't know. I've put it out there on Wes Eisencheck's Lost Muscle Cars,
okay.
and I put it on like ebodies.org, and the VIN number just doesn't pop up. But when I sold that car, I sold it to buy a dirt bike.
Yeah.
So I raced motocross, and I sold it to buy a dirt bike, and I sold it for $1,000 because I blew up the transmission. $1,000, and I know the guy that I sold it to, but he fixed it and just flipped it, and it's gone. But it was a nice car, so I mean, unless it got wrapped around a telephone pole,
Yeah.
it should still exist.
Should still. Yeah.
So, so 89, 90. So I think it was like 1990 is when I got rid of it. So it was still a good car.
Yeah.
People would have known that.
Oh yeah.
It's a 71 Barracuda. It could have a Hemi in it right now.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
yeah. 1990 was when I started going to the Mopar Nationals.
yeah.
So.
Yep. I didn't even know the Mopar Nationals existed.
I just went one time by myself, and then it's like started making an annual trip, and did that up till about 2000, and
right.
So
Tom tells me about the first time he went. He camped. He just slept in his Suburban.
yeah, that's what he was doing when I met him.
Yeah,
he was just
totally hot, sweaty.
Yep.
Just like nowadays we'd get a hotel and take
Oh,
a
yeah.
shower, but he was in July just camping, sleeping in your Suburban or your van,
Yep.
or some people had tents, and you just camp out because to be at the Mopar Nationals
Oh,
was
yeah.
a big deal.
And that's back when everybody had their cars there.
right. Right.
I remember the first time I went to Columbus, I was driving back, and it must have been in Indianapolis. I caught up to a 70, I think it was a 70 Super B. It was orange, and it was a Hemi, and cruising down the highway.
Right. Yep.
It's like they were driven.
Yep. So anymore, like you won't see the cars because they're trailered.
Yeah.
Like their box trailers are so popular now.
Yeah.
Everybody puts their car in a box trailer, and they're so valuable, and no one wants a rock chip or get totaled. But I remember the first time I went to the Nationals, we cruised on Bryce Road.
Yep.
I got pictures of Tom was taking pictures, and we'd wait till I went around the block, and he'd take a picture with the Bryce Road sign, and as I drove by, and then he took his Barracuda. He finally got that done, and he took his Barracuda to the Nationals, and same thing. We cruised that around,
Yeah.
and he even took it down the drag strip once.
Did he?
Yep. But yeah, nowadays you just like around the show immediately you'll see a few cars, but you won't see them driving like you used to.
Yeah.
They're just people pamper them a
Oh, I
lot.
In my case, you get that much money into them, and
Right.
you're just afraid to drive it.
Right.
So.
So I think we've talked about everything. So if I get this video out in time, this week is the Chrysler Carlisle show. It's the 100th anniversary, and it's the 55th anniversary of Trans Am cars. So that's once again, that's Challenger TAs and Cuda AARs. The 55th anniversary. Ed, Jeff, Barry, all the guys, big names. They're putting on this awesome show, and as soon as you and I found out about, well, I think I found out about it first, and I called you up right away, and I'm like, we have to get entered right now, and that was like a year ago, and we have to get entered right now because there's only a limited space for the building.
Yeah.
And one of the buildings, it'll hold like maybe 12 cars
Yep.
or whatever the case. And we were like on the edge of our seat for months and months to find out if we were going to be in the building.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
didn't really want this car to be out on the show field because
But-
of what it is. And so we were like, man, I really hope they pick us to be in the building. And then finally we heard from Ed and Jeff, you guys got picked to be in the building. And then it ends up a lot of our friends are going to be in the building too. You know, Mac Hamilton with his orange TA, and then Joseph with his green one. So that, I mean, just everybody. DJ is going to have his blue TA there. Chris, he's going to have a TA or something there too. So all these guys, and a lot of us from Iowa and Illinois. So the Midwest is really going to show up there with a lot of Trans Am cars. And so anyway, Carlisle Classic coming up this week.
Yep.
We're going to try to get this video out. And anything else to add? So I appreciate you sitting down with me.
No problem.
Having a chat about it, getting this on tape.
Yeah.
And learning the history about the car. So yeah. All right.
Yeah. Super.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Please comment and subscribe.